Welcome back. Now, my editor asked me today if I would kiss my next guest to test a gadget. Well, they're smiling, but it is a look of genuine alarm right there because, don't worry, I'm not going to do it, but let's talk about their idea, a device which lets you kiss whoever you want to kiss through the internet, complete with sensation. I'm going to let Emma Zhang and Professor Adrian Cheok explain. They're both from the Imagineering Institute and they're here in the studio with me. And thank you for bringing both the device in and for coming in. Emma, to you first of all. I mean, why did you even think of this?
Well, actually, it wasn't my idea. It was my supervisor, Professor Adrian Cheok. He invented this idea of having a kids messenger to sort of help long-distance couples or families and friends who are not living together to communicate intimacy, even though they're not physically together. Yes.
Adrian, your idea, you call it the Kissenger, not Henry Kissinger, but the Kissenger. How does it work?
Well, basically we have some pressure sensors in the device. It measures the pressure on your lip, and then we have a bi-directional control system, so you feel the pressure of your partner's lip on your lips, and they feel the pressure of your lips, and it's going through the internet. So you can kiss your friend, family, lovers anywhere in the world. So if it's my grandmother's birthday, I can send her a kiss, even though she's in Australia.
Go on, then. You brought a device each.
Yes.
Demonstrate it for me.
Sure, let's do that.
So you can see this device is 3D printed, and you can connect it to your phone. And while you're having a Skype call with your friends or family, then you can put your lips here.
Here we go.
And then send them a kiss.
I can feel her kiss. I can feel her kiss.
So that's the kiss that Emma sent, and you can feel it straight away.
Yes, almost straight away.
And what? Just describe the sensation in terms of. I mean, how realistic is it?
Well, it's not extremely high fidelity, because when we asked people what kind of kiss we'd like through the internet, they thought a very realistic kiss with like human lips would be creepy. So we deliberately made it to be the form factor, be not so realistic. So it gives you the impression of kissing without being totally realistic. Of course, the next step we can do very realistic.
Well, I'll come to the next steps in a moment, but just in terms of, so you're trying to do it, and if you twist it round, we'll get to see. You're trying to do it with a visual aid as well, so that it's all married up, is it?
Yes. So this is actually supposed to be a video chat. So in this app, so if you imagine that you're having a video chat with your daughter when you're away on business trip, and you can see her, and you can hear her, but you can't really reach out to kiss her. Yeah. So with this device, you can
actually
send her a kiss.
I was describing this to my 8-year-old last night, and she thought it was a really good idea. Just in terms of those occasions where you're away.
Both directions.
Absolutely. Yeah. Adrian, how long have you been developing this then?
Well, actually, it's quite a few years, nearly 10 years. The early version, we did a kind of human head with lips. And as I mentioned before, people said it looks so creepy. So we decided we should go not realistic. And people feel very comfortable with this kind of form factor. They don't feel like they're kissing a zombie.
And the next stages, because it's already taken you a decade, so you're talking about developing all the time. What is the next bit?
We're going back to the roots, because 10 years ago we couldn't make a very realistic human head, but now we can. So we're actually going to make very realistic human heads of myself, of my students, and we can see each other in almost perfect 3D in silicone and kiss each other through the internet.
It's really interesting, because I think you were actually demonstrating this to an audience that there's been a conference in London about robots, about our human relationships with robots. So I just want to show our viewers just a little snatch about what that conference has been like. Have a look at this.
From time to time, we bring you interesting and unusual people. But now let's meet probably the strangest man we've ever introduced. The name is Geigen, and although not quite human, he's certainly the nearest approach yet created by man.
A 1950s vision of our robotic future. Machines made very much in our own image, that could speak like us, dance like us, maybe even love like us.
Oh well, those will be the days.
It's the holy grail of robotic development, but it also raises a whole host of ethical questions. Would you have sex with a robot? Would you marry one? What rights would it have? It might sound far-fetched, but this year a number of high-level panels were set up to tackle just such questions. In the meantime, much of the technology is focused on making affection easier amongst humans.
It's really fascinating that. And I was most intrigued that you've got there at this conference just a whole group of academics, of manufacturers. I mean, people are looking at this whole area, Adrian, really quite seriously now.
Yes, very, very seriously, because we think in the very, very near term, we're going to be friends with robots. We're going to fall in love with robots.
Really?
And we're even going to marry robots. Yes, no, absolutely. I think, in fact, one of our speakers said that by 2050, it will be legal to marry a robot. Legal in UK to marry a robot. And
there'll be lots of people both laughing and think it's rather odd, but we'll leave that to one side, just in terms of technologically where we are, because things like taste and smell, I mean, people have been trying to digitise that.
Yes.
It's so far eluded everyone, hasn't it?
Yes, it's a very difficult problem because unlike light and sound, taste and smell molecular based. But in our lab, we're actually working on a device that you can put on your tongue, in your nose, and stimulate with electricity taste and smell, so then you could send it through the internet.
How far away from that? I mean, we've seen it's taken you a decade for this, so those sorts of developments, how far away from that?
Well, we've done it in the lab. We can stimulate taste with electrical signals in the lab. We're working on smell stimulation in the lab now. So I think, you know, within 3 to 5 years we can see...
3 to 5 years?
Commercial products. It's a very fast changing technology.
Do you know, I said right at the beginning I wasn't going to get involved with all of this, but I'm absolutely intrigued. So, do you know what, Emma, I'm going to let you give me a little peck on the cheek to say goodbye. Go on then, have a go, and I'm going to just actually find out what that feels like.
All right.
So I put it to my cheek.
All right, ready?
And off you go.
All right.
Well, that's a sensation of sorts, but not quite the sensation I was expecting. Absolutely fascinating. A little bit of work still left to do. But Adrian, thank you so much. And Emma, thank you for coming on and both showing us the device and explaining it. Really odd that was, but thanks very much. Just to remind you of what's coming up here on the programme, we're back live in Berlin. We are expecting an update from prosecutors, so we're back there with all the very latest on that, our main story. Absolutely fascinating chat there, and I'm going to try it out a little while again. See you in a minute.